Look, I told you, didn't I? You've got to take one leg out first at a time. Otherwise, stuff like this happens. Don't try and do two legs at the same time. Otherwise, you'll end up back in A&E. I'll let you carry on. She's done it again, hasn't she? She tries to get out of a panty girdle all at once, and now she's in a terrible flutter. Anyway, let's go and talk Queer as Folk. Hello boys and girls, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Camilla Parkyaballs, my little corner of the internet. Now, while she's in there trying not to put herself back into traction, I'm in here in my lovely kitchen doing another little video. And this week, boys and girls, we're going to do a TV series review. So it's something a little bit different on the Camilla Parkyaballs channel, because we've done book reviews, we've done cooking demonstrations, and we've also done life stories. Well, I say life stories, a coming out story, but you know, real life stuff. So now I thought, what shall I do this week? What can Auntie Camilla talk to her lovely boys and girls all about this week? And I thought, why not Queer as Folk? But not only Queer as Folk UK, but also Queer as Folk USA. And like a bit of a comparison, a critique, if you like, boys and girls. So grab a cup of tea, grab a big pile of biscuits, sit back in your favourite comfy chair, and let's talk telly. Before we get fully into the video, boys and girls, I must say none of the featured DVDs, television shows, are paying me for this review. This is done completely free. More's the pity, really. But so there's no sponsors. I'm not getting paid. Nobody's giving me a backhander or anything like that. So it's all completely free. And there's no sponsors. And I think that's it, isn't it? Have I mentioned everything I've got to mention now? So I don't get sued again. Oh, I can't go back in that court. No, not after. I should just give that frozen chicken back in the first place, shouldn't I? Really? Rather than trying to smuggle it up my jumper. But, you know, times were hard and the kids were hungry and, oh, well, you know how it is, boys and girls. So, that's the disclaimers all dealt with. So, there we go. That keeps the legals happy. Now, if you haven't already, boys and girls, please give this video a like, share the video with all your family and friends and anyone bored enough to watch this channel, because that would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe. You'll see the little clicky thing somewhere along here, and like as well. Give it a thumbs up. There should be something pinging around about here, and turn on the little bell. There's a little bell, boys and girls, that you can click. That should be dinging around about here now, and that just tells you when Camilla's back on your telly box or back on the internet anyway. So there we go. If you could do that for me, boys and girls, that would be much appreciated. And all your comments, all your lovely comments that have come in over the last few weeks, they all get read, they all get replied to. Sorry, the dog's outside chasing wasps again. She won't learn, she'll never learn. So, what was I saying? Oh, see, this thing when you get distracted. Yeah, they all get read, they all get replied to. So, thank you very much for sending them in. So, Queer as Folk then, for those of you who don't know, where the bloody hell have you been for the last 20 odd years? Queer as Folk was a groundbreaking Channel 4 not documentary series. What are you talking about, Camilla? You say cow. It was a drama series. That's it, boys and girls. It was a drama series set in Manchester's gay village, Canal Street. Lovely place. If you ever go there, if it's even there now, go to Via Fossa. They do a very nice lamb mint and apricot pie there. It's probably closed down now anyway. But anyway, so the series focuses on the lives of predominantly 3 gay men. So we got Stuart, Nathan and Vince. There are 3 main characters. There's also another character, Alexander, who's plays not a main role, but he's there. And it basically concentrates on the lives and the loves of these 3 men and life in and around the Canal Street gay village set in Manchester. It was first broadcast in the 90s. Now, it actually says on here 1999, but I thought it was a little earlier than that. I thought it was about 97, 98. I'm not too sure, but 99 I suppose would be correct, because in the series there's a reference to Princess Diana's funeral. So obviously, and she died in 97, so it would have had to be then. So anyway, it was in the 90s. All the best stuff was in the 90s, I thought. Oh God, waffling on, waffle. I've lost my train of thought. This is what happens, isn't it? I've lost my train of thought. It's set in the 90s. In the gay village, focusing on Vince, Nathan, and Stuart and their kind of their lives and loves. Oh, that was it. It's come back to me now. Oh my God, the messages are coming through. It was a groundbreaking television series for the time, because there had never been so much as a gay kiss on television, let alone a gay series. So, well, apart from that lesbian kiss on Brookside, but we don't talk about that. But no, even that itself was like groundbreaking television. 2 women kissing on the telly on a main soap program. It was fantastic. It was a real achievement for the media and the gay community as a whole. So thank you, Phil Redmond, if you're watching this. You're probably not. You're probably doing something far more better. Hopefully making another series of Brookside. So it was really groundbreaking television, and I remember when this first came out, I remember seeing the first episode, and I was like, oh, I could not believe it. And it was one of those situations. I was in my bedroom, obviously living at home with my parents, duvet kind of wrapped round, the telly on kind of as low as you could get, but high enough so you could still hear what was going on. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And the first episode is quite a raunchy episode. There's a lot involved in the first episode. And nothing really, boys and girls, is left to the imagination, shall we say. Maybe that's where E.L. James got her ideas from for 50 Shades. She watched Queer as Folk and thought, oh, well, that's maybe how you do it. I've never read 50 Shades of Grey, so I don't know really what's in it. So, anyway, I'll waffle on. So I remember watching it, and I was amazed, and I was hooked, because I just thought it was brilliant, and it kind of pressed on issues that hadn't been really talked about in the mainstream media since forever. It talked about obviously gay sex, transgenderism. Were there any transgender people in there? Do you know what? It's been quite a long while since I've watched the UK version, but it dealt with a whole range of LGBT issues that just weren't being talked about in the media. So it was absolutely fantastic, and it ran for two series it ran for, and the actors that played you know, Vince and Stuart and Nathan have gone on to do, you know, greater things. In fact, this cheeky chappy here, Charlie Hunnam, who played Nathan, who was Stuart's first kind of, not love interest, but one night stand. The one night stand that never went away. He is now in Hollywood, and most people who haven't seen this will probably recognise him from, what's the bike? Sons of Anarchy. That's the one. Sons of Anarchy. And then Stuart, he's been in quite a few. This is Aidan Gillen who plays Stuart. He's been in quite a few feature films, Hollywood films. He was in one very good film called Calvary, which was about a Roman Catholic priest in Ireland, and he played some kind of mad doctor in it. It was quite good. It was a very good performance. And then the guy who plays Vince, I know he has been in other stuff, but it just hasn't been as prominent as the other two. But they've both gone on to do other things. But what I'll do, boys and girls, I will read you the back cover of it. So it says, Queer as Folk follows the lives of three gay men living at large in Manchester's Canal Street. Stuart has got it all. He's rich, drop-dead gorgeous, and always the centre of attention. He can be forgiven for the arrogance because he's pretty close to perfection. Well, aren't we all? His best mate Vince is funny, adorable, definitely a babe, but unlike his friend has zero confidence in himself. Since time began, Vince has carried a torch for Stuart, but his love remains firmly unrequited. They're both 29, hitting Canal Street every time, stalwarts of the scene, but just starting to wonder where else their lives may be going. Then along comes Nathan, young, wild, and coming out with a vengeance. He crowbars his way into their world, and once arrives, nothing is ever the same again. And that's it. That's Queer as Folk UK, pretty much in a nutshell. Written by the fabulous Russell T Davies, who some of you may know writes the Doctor Who series now, but he's absolutely brilliant. So, boys and girls, let's see if we can... Oh, look at that, see? And... oh, comes with a little booklet as well. Look at that, little booklet. And it's got all different types of things in there. Oh, look, there's Russell T Davies. He's the writer of the show. And yeah, it's great. That's Alexander. He's the other character. He is played by Anthony Cotton, who plays Sean in Coronation Street now, the barman. So, yeah, it is a fantastic series. And I would highly recommend it to anybody. Especially if you're a young gay kid struggling with things, you're not 100% sure of what the world is. That's a really good kind of starting point. Anyway, join me in a second because we'll be comparing Queer as Folk UK to Queer as Folk USA. Right, that's the dog sorted out. Oh, she's lovely, my little dog, but she does crave attention. Anyway, moving on. Queer as Folk USA, the American version. So, how does it compare to Queer as Folk UK? Well, initially, it's virtually identical. They just all have American accents. Whereas obviously in the UK version they don't. Do all have British accents. Although they don't talk like that. Now, Queer as Folk USA goes for 5 series, so it's quite a lengthy process. And the plot line is very similar. I'll just read you the back cover. It's not as long-winded as this one. For 5 compelling series, Britain's smash hit saga became Americans' taboo, busting well, they've got that wrong as well, because this only ran for 2. But there we go. America's taboo busting touchstone of contemporary gay life. The stories of Brian, Michael, Justin, Emmett, Ted, Melanie and Lindsay are the stories of your friends, your family, our world. Keeping the spirit of Liberty Street alive and steamy. This complete 5-season set, Queer as Folk, includes the exclusive bonus disc. And it says Ray John at the end. Of course, Ray John. So, Series 1 and 2 are more or less mirrored on the UK model. So, the 3 main characters in the US version are Brian, who is basically Stuart's equivalent. There's Michael, who is Vince's equivalent. And then there's Justin, who's Nathan's equivalent. And then you've got Emmett, who is Alexander's equivalent. Alexander is the character played by Sean from Coronation Street in this. But whereas in the UK version he plays more of a kind of a background role, so to speak. Whereas in the UK version, the US version, Emmett plays a very much central role in the series. Now, in the UK season, there's another character called, what was his name? I can't think of his name now. But basically, he's friends with Stuart and Vince. And he goes back with like a one-night stand, takes drugs and dies, basically, in the UK version. In the American version, the equivalent to his character is Ted, and the same thing happens, but Ted lives, and he's more of a central role. So the characters in the US version are a lot more substantial, shall we say. In the UK version, the equivalent characters, it only really in the UK version, it only really concentrates on the 3 main characters, really. Everybody else, although they've got their own little storylines, they're kind of in the background, so you don't really get to see them at the, full potential. There are odd little episodes where they do explore a little deeper into the characters, but that's as good as it gets. Whereas the US version, as everything in America, it's always bigger and better and louder and more brasher. So it's a bit like my life, boys and girls. I like to go the extra mile. In the US version, those characters are very much at the forefront of the series. Now, with the US version, now people say that the Americans are quite prudish about sex and they don't really like to show it a lot on the television. That is not true. Anyone who tells you that, boys and girls, are liars, because this is packed full of sex. Every other scene there's somebody doing someone or something, and again, boys and girls, nothing, and I mean nothing, is left to the imagination. So it's bliss, really, if you like that type of thing. So the initial plot and storyline very much the same as the UK version, but obviously the characters are more in depth. They are more, I would say, rounded, and there's a lot more backstory given to them. Now, Queer as Folk UK only runs for 2. This runs for 5. So the other 3 series kind of delves deeper into other kind of subplots, and they deal with homophobia in this. They deal with political corruption in this. It's proper typical American drama. There's every kind of thing you can think of all in kind of one episode. But over every episode. So it's really fantastic. It's great. At first, I did 83 episodes. 83 episodes on 24 DVDs. See, the Americans pack it so much better, don't they? Initially, when I got this, I kind of watched it, and I watched the first few episodes of the first series, and I thought, is this just going to be the UK season, show, but with American accents? Because if it is, I've seen it. I don't really need to see it again. So I didn't watch it for ages, and it's only kind of in lockdown that I thought, I'll give it a bash, I'll give it a go, and I've been hooked on it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. The UK version is fantastic, just basically because it is what it is, and the most groundbreaking documentaries, drama series, that's probably ever been made. Especially in this country, so it will always rank way up there amongst anything else. Anything else that comes after it now has got a huge kind of bar to meet. But the US version is just as good. It's fantastic. I would highly recommend you get this, but I would say watch this first and then watch this, and then compare the two. But both of them are just as equally as good. Obviously, the US version goes on longer, so you get kind of more for your money, if you like, and I think it's a lot more detailed, shall we say. But it's set in on a place called Liberty Avenue, which is a place in Pittsburgh. I don't know whether it's a real place in Pittsburgh in America, but it's kind of, obviously the equivalent is Canal Street in Manchester. So it's still got the same kind of vibe and feel to it. But I think in the American version, a lot more topics are addressed. Maybe it's because in America, they just let all their inhibitions go and everything goes into it. Whereas in Britain, we are a lot more reserved. And don't forget, Queer as Folk was written and made in a time when, gay culture just was not talked about. So anyway, boys and girls, that is it. That is my review, my Queer as Folk DVD review, UK and US. Go out and buy them, enjoy them, watch them. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye, dears.